It's Talking Reds. It's Tuesday the 5th of December. We're back talking Reds. Craig Hannan, Gareth Roberts, and first off, the FA Cup draw. What a belter.
Yes!
You know, I just think like people moan about the FA Cup, don't they, and say it's not as important as it was. It's not the competition it once was. Well, do you want to lose against Everton? No, you don't. I can't wait for that now. That's a cracker, isn't it? I mean, we've got them on Sunday, obviously, and then we've got them again in January. I think Jamie Carragher summed it up really well on Twitter when he said, basically, we can fuck the Christmas up and we can fuck the New Year up as well. Well in, Cara. That'd do, wouldn't it?
Unbelievable. I was jumping up and down whenever the draw was made. It scared my girlfriend. She was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I was just absolutely buzzing, and like, you know, obviously we had Plymouth and we had Plymouth in the third round last year, and just that's just feels like a bit of a dead rubber and a bit of a game that you just have to get through, and this is one we can properly look forward to, and it's made me more excited about this weekend, but also more nervous as well. I can't work out my feelings at the minute, and I don't, you know, we are very confident with just how things have gone at the minute, but it just feels like you know, it feels like this could just ruin everything for us, and I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel nervous as I am right now.
Don't be nervous. No, come on. Look,
I'm a shit house. As soon as it gets to a few days,
I don't get this. Come on, Reds. Look, I see this online as well. People going, "Oh, you know, you're tempting fate and you're doing this and all that." Let's be confident. We always beat them. There's nothing wrong with being confident. And look, you know, say the worst happens, they're going to win one day. But guess what happens then? They just crow about it a bit, and then you just go, "But you haven't won anything since 1995, boys." And Big Sam is your manager. It's the first meeting in the third round between Liverpool and Everton, or it will be, since 1932. We've played them 4 times at Anfield in the FA Cup, and every one of them has ended in a draw. We have, of course, beat them on other stages, not least Wembley, which was the last time in the competition, 2012. Andy Carroll's header, the day when they bricked it, basically. They played all right for a bit, didn't they? And then Moyes became Moyes, Everton became Everton, and Liverpool won. 86 was good as well. You won't remember that, but it was a cracker, I'll tell you now. 1989, the final as well. And of course, they'll go on about, you know, Gosling or whatever, and the 4-4 and things like that. So everyone's looking forward to it. It's a belter. I'm made up with it.
Do you know what? How many did they get? How many of their lads do they get to come to Anfield? Because it's the cup, obviously, so they get a bigger capacity. I think it could be up to 15%. I think I read.
Get the Annie Road.
Just give them the whole of the Annie Road. Beat them, and then that means there's 8,000 of them that get to view us beating them and putting them out of the FA Cup, and another year trophyless.
Well, there is Derby week as well, and we are talking about Everton a lot this week. Sorry, Blues, but we're just going to do it, whether you like it or not. I just wanted to go over a couple of things that are being said by Everton. Allardyce has admitted that the game in Cyprus is a dead rubber, and they're just going to rest everyone. Bit of a shame that Liverpool can't do the same against Moscow, but you know, we're in the Champions League and that, and it's more important. Also as well, I love this, Mashiri has said that he said the other week that Allardyce is the most underrated manager in the Premier League. But by who? Like who's underrating him? Everyone just thinks, you know, he's a fella who does a certain thing with football clubs, and that's what he's been brought in to do at Everton.
It feels as if he's managed about half the clubs in this league, so I don't think he's underrated. And he continually gets given jobs, despite what happened with the England job as well. So I don't think he's underrated by anyone. More
on him later when we do the papers. I've got a cracker for you. But before that, there's been some gossip. We are in December, January transfer window soon, so the gossip is starting to ramp up. And there's reports in Spain today, El Gol, probably haven't said that right, Soz. They've been quoted by the Mirror. They're saying that Sturridge could be used as part of a deal to bring former Stoke midfielder Steven Nzonzi to Anfield, doing a deal with Sevilla. Betis have also been linked with Sturridge as well. A couple of things there. Sturridge, obviously 28 years old now. He'll be wanting to be involved with the World Cup in England, you would have thought. And Liverpool right now, they've played 23 games this season. Sturridge has only started 5 of them. Honours a sub 8 times. He's one of Liverpool's top earners. There's a lot of things that suggest to me that something could happen with Sturridge. Whether it's Sevilla is another question, and whether Nzonzi's part of any deal is another question again. But on Sturridge, what do you think? I mean, I think there's a possibility he could go.
There is a possibility, but I think we've had this conversation for the last 2 transfer windows, and I just don't know who it is that he goes to, he wants to go to. I get the feeling that he quite likes playing for a Champions League team like Liverpool, even though he's only got 5 starts. I think he knows that at some stage he will get another chance. High wage bill, so does that rule out some sides in the Premier League? Does he go to Spain? I don't think going out of England helps his World Cup chances any.
Well, regular football would help his World Cup chances.
I just don't know. I think he ends up staying. I think it's better for Liverpool if he stays as well. I'd like to take as little risks in this transfer window as possible. I'd like to bring in lads if he can, but the less lads that leave, the better for me, really.
And on Nzonzi, obviously big and physical, and Klopp does like that type of player. And perhaps no surprise maybe to be linked with a more defensive midfielder as well. I mean, when you think that Emre Can is likely to be leaving, and Grujic, it's looking as though he's not really considered good enough and he's likely to be sent out on loan. It could make a bit of sense. Maybe it's just people drawing dots. I mean, he is 28 years old, which is a bit on the old side. What do you reckon?
I'm all right with that. Look, everyone talked about Matic being old and the fee that United have paid for him, and he's come in there brilliantly for him. I quite like Steven Nzonzi. I think he's a better player and he's more cultured than people would give him credit for. I think the fact that he played for Stoke before goes against him a little bit, but he's been in Sevilla's side for the last few years, and I'm all for getting that kind of player. I don't think we have enough of that kind of player, but then I'm just not sure that Jurgen Klopp does. Lucas Leiva, he was the most defensive minded player that we had in midfield, and he's now left. So I don't see it really.
Okay, well, if you like that kind of chat, we do have a transfer show on the Anfield Raps Tour Player called The Gutter. There's one of them out today, going through all the latest stories like that one. Also out today, we've got an Under the Lights, which is previewing tomorrow's game with Spartak, and a Coach Home, which that show we speak to fans of other clubs about what's going on at their club. So loads going on. Couple of other things before we go to the papers. Lots of people think I'm a Buffalo Bills fan because I had a cup yesterday. We just got a present off some American fans who come in who were lovely, dropped a couple of cups off, and to be honest with you, that cup is the biggest cup in the office.
It's a bucket.
And I like tea. So I'm not a Bills fan, but just clearing that one up. Other one, FSF Awards, Football Supporters Federation Awards last night. The Anfield Rap was shortlisted for Club Podcast of the Year. We didn't win this time, but congratulations to Hull City Podcast, Amber Nectar. They won this time around. We've previously won Radio Show of the Year. We've won Podcast of the Year a couple of times as well. So no grumbles for us on that one. Stay with us. We're going to have a chat now about the papers. Okay, so we're back inside. We're having a look at the newspapers. Sam made us stand outside, by the way, in the freezing cold because, he wanted to be all arty and get nice shots at Liverpool.
Prick.
And we just got in loads of people's way and they were looking at us weird. Someone nearly walked in front of the camera at one point. We were shivering. Back inside now, though, with the aforementioned Bills mug. I still don't support them, but what a mug. I mean, look at Craig's. Craig's got an Anfield Wrap on there, available at www.theanfieldwrap.com /shop. But yeah, I've got my massive Bills mug. My actual Bills aren't that massive. I've lost a bit of weight. Anyway, the newspapers, that's what we're all here for. So I've had a look this morning. This is in a lot of the newspapers, this one, but I've got it in The Guardian. You probably can't see that, it's miles away, Soz. But it's Clatsy, Al Clattenburg, who was quite kind, Mark Clattenburg, as a referee to Liverpool, I think.
I miss him.
Yeah, a lot of Liverpool fans do. But on this is wild, this. So if you don't know, basically he said that he allowed Tottenham to self-destruct with the way he refereed the club's draw at Chelsea, which handed Leicester City the title in May 2016. He's done a podcast, Clattenburg, one not as good as the Anfield Wrap, obviously, and he's basically said that he went into the game to referee with a game plan, and what he wanted was he didn't want to be blamed for deciding the title. I find all this odd as a football fan. He says, I allowed them, Tottenham, to self-destruct. So all the media, all the people in the world went, Tottenham lost the title. He said, if I sent 3 players off from Tottenham, what are the headlines? Clattenburg cost Tottenham the title. what's he talking about?
Get over yourself, Clatty.
There's so many times that we've come out of football games and you've all looked at each other, you're in the pub or you're on a podcast or whatever, you're just having a general chat with whoever about games, and you're going, the referee didn't referee that match. He refereed the context of the match. We've seen it in derbies, we've seen it when we played Manchester United. You've seen referees where they go, right, I'm going to book someone early and get a grip of this game. Well, if it's not a booking, don't book them. And equally, you know, if you had to send someone off there, Clatty, we'll send them off because it's still a red card. It doesn't matter how important the game is or who's playing. Just use the rules, mate. That's all we want as fans watching it. We want consistency, don't we?
Do you remember the game though? It was the Chelsea game, wasn't it? Where they were kicking chunks out of each other, and it was actually, you know, and it was actually good fun to watch. To see leniency like it, just from a neutral point of view, but from a professionalism. That's ridiculous. That is outrageous that he is genuinely refereeing it based on the fact that he's worried in his head that he might attract some negative headlines.
What? I mean, he concludes, or the article concludes, with Clattenburg adding, "I helped the game." Do you think?
It's nice to hear from him again, though. I've missed him a little bit. What are you up to, Clatty? Let us know if you're watching.
All right, next one. Back at the Times today. Hope you can see that one. Sam will do some nice cutaways and stuff, I'm sure. Eden Hazard is refusing to sign a deal at Chelsea, apparently, for 300 grand a week, which is some serious dough, and more than Liverpool are playing their players, by the way. But also, I think it emphasises that, you know, we as fans, obviously, we all get angry, don't we, when one of our players is linked abroad. Coutinho, it's happening again, it seems, links with Barcelona again, and that sort of thing. But sometimes there's just nothing you can do. I mean, the reason with Hazard is that apparently Real Madrid are sniffing, and he fancies it. So if the player fancies it, it's a big club, it's an attractive club, and you're putting deals like that on the table, and he's just going, I don't want it. There's not a lot the club can do, is there?
It's becoming more difficult by the day, really, for clubs to tie players down. We're seeing it with Emre Can. He's the one that sort of holds the chips in this instance because he goes for free at the end of the summer, and that's Eden Hazard there. I think Chelsea have a similar situation with Courtois as well, whose contract's up at the end of next season, and they'll have to try and tie him down. But you know, we all know what's going to happen next summer if he's not signed a contract. Real Madrid will be sniffing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I did promise you it's more Sam Allardyce, and this is an absolute belter. This the Liverpool Echo today, article down the side in the Everton coverage there. Sam, oldest and tallest Blues boss. I mean, come on, boys. I mean, there's ways and means of selling this appointment to yourselves, and you've all been doing it. But the fact that he's the oldest and tallest manager you have ever had, it says, I'll read a bit of it out. It says, not only is Big Sam the tallest man to ever stand in the home dugout at Goodison Park at 6'3", he's 2 inches above previous leaders David Moyes and Joe Royle, both 6'1", thanks for the clarification. But at 63, he is also by far the most seasoned gaffer the club have employed. And it goes on. And then, you know, it says, I like this bit as well, with his silver hair and previously lengthy tenure at Rangers, many considered Walter Smith to be older than he actually was. But having been 50 when he was appointed, the Scot was sacked less than a month after his 54th birthday in 2002.
That's amazing.
It goes on. I mean, there's loads of it. I mean, have a read in today's Echo, but I mean, it's absolute breaking news that Sam, oldest and tallest Everton.
Do you know what? I like to think that in the Everton changing room they've got like markings of every manager. So whenever they've come in, they've made them right. What height are you, lad? Okay. Oh yes, go on, Big Sam. You're the tallest lad. Well then, what shoe size are you?
If anyone from the Echo is watching, I'd like you to do a follow-up if possible and let us know whether Sam's got the biggest head of any Everton manager, because Joe Royle had a decent head on him.
Yeah, he did.
He's got a big head. So, you know, is Sam's bigger than Joe Royle's head? I'd love to know, and I look forward to hopefully a follow-up article on that one. Okay, finally on today's Talking Reds, an early shout for Bellend of the Week, a new feature, and the Bellend of the Week this week is Bernie Packingham. Hi, Bernie. Now, anyone who follows our Facebook page, we quite regularly do quite long posts on there. I do something after every match. We'll do stuff about sort of memories around matches and players and stuff like that. And there was an anniversary last week of when Robbie Fowler left Liverpool for Leeds United. Obviously had a bit of a falling out with Houllier and Tomo, and you know, the story's sort of well documented. But you know, we dug out an old video and I wrote a bit of a, you know, wasn't Fowler a great type piece, because I did think he was great, and you know, he was a local lad, local hero. I loved him. It was great seeing a Scouse lad from Toxteth banging in loads of goals and being one of the best players around. And so I sort of, you know, I put that into nicer words, posted it on our Facebook page, little video, loads of people liked it, everyone was getting involved, saying, you know, lovely lad Fowler, great goals, blah, 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 blah. And then Bernie gets involved, doesn't he? Bernie, he says, mate, M8, mate, I think you need some perspective in your life. Why don't you try and get a date with him and kiss his arse?
Yes, Bernie. He's saying what we all wanted to say.
I mean, I'm not looking for a date with Robbie Fowler. I mean, I've got a missus. I'm all right with her. And I certainly don't want to kiss Robbie Fowler's arse either. I was merely saying it was nice to have a Scouse lad in the team who played well at football. Anyway, so I decided, it wound me up a little bit, I'll be honest with you. So I went back, fuck off your helmet.
A measured response there from Robbo.
To which Bernie replied, okay Robbo, the posh boy so desperate to be one of the lads. And on it went. You know, yes. I gave him a little bit back, called him a weird little troll. Said he's a desperate C-U-N-T who winds people up on the internet. I'm not sure I can say that word on this video. And then posh, and I did a load of laughing faces. See what you make of me troll game, let me know in the comments below. And anyway, he says his issue is my lack of perspective about a man who kicked the football. That is weird, says Bernie. I said, you're weird. Why your arse, mate? I'm just writing something about Fowler. And he says, because it's pathetic. I go and follow both teams. I'm presuming he means Liverpool and Everton here, by the way. You follow both teams. That's weird. And I've never talked or written such gushing shite about a footballer in my life. So I went back, you know, your behaviour's bizarre, mate, not mine. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, sorry, he said that. I called him a weirdo. And in the end, though, anyway, this is the best bit. I love this. So this is backwards and forwards on the Anfield Apps page, which Bernie has liked and is interacting with. He concludes, do me a favour, Robbo, block me off this site. I don't want to read any more of your arse-kissing idol worship. Well, I'll tell you what, Bernie, mate. Click the little thumb and it goes from like to unlike. And guess what? You don't see it anymore. That's how Facebook works. You weirdo. Anyway.
Social media Sean's not going to be happy about us losing likes here.
Well, it's only one and it's only Bernie. Bernie's not subscribing, is he? He follows both teams. So there you go. Bell end of the week. That's been Talking Reds. We'll be back again tomorrow.